Hey there, my name is Rebecca Black. I am the Bexa Boss Lady, and I thank you so much for taking the time out of your day to join me on my channel. I normally do videos for Poshmark sellers, but today I am flipping the script and I am going to do a video just for Poshmark buyers. I think that Poshmark buyers don't get enough information. They are searching and searching for what to do on the site, and they don't really know how to effectively buy and what the rules are on Poshmark. And so I thought maybe it would be a great idea to do a top 10 list for Poshmark buyers. I kind of have everything all written out here, so if you see me looking down at my notes, I got a lot of information here to talk to the Poshmark buyers about. But if you're a seller or you are a buyer and you have a tip, please leave it in the comments below. I think the best thing that we can do as a community is share information. And if you have a tip that works for you, why not leave it for someone else? It might just help their buying experience on Poshmark be even better. So I'm going to give you my top 10 tips for buying on Poshmark, whether you're a new user or a newer user or an expert user. I think these are all things that we can consider when we're buying on the app. So the first thing is never be afraid to ask questions. I know there's a lot of drama sometimes in the Instagram community or the Facebook Poshmark Facebook groups about buyers that are asking questions. But I think it's important to know that if you have a question about an item, you have a right to ask the question. So if you would like to know measurements, or if you're interested in knowing more about the material content, that sort of thing, please feel free to ask those questions. Now, questions that are difficult for a seller to answer are things such as true to size. We can't tell you if an item is true to size. It's just not possible. Everyone's bodies are different. So a true to size question is really hard. Do these fit like a size 6? Again, that's kind of like a true to size, which is something that a seller really can't answer for you. Is a size 29 a size 8? Those types of questions really should be answered in the form of measurements. And if you aren't sure of how to measure, you would just take your favorite pair of jeans, measure the same way the seller has measured those jeans you're interested in buying, and see if they are the same measurements. That is the best way to go about it. We want to give the best information because we know that there are no returns on Poshmark. There are very few sellers on Poshmark that are interested in scamming people or trying to pull one over on another posher. But most of us are just trying to run a really great resale business and sell wonderful clothing to other people. So if we want to be able to answer questions, we can do so, but you have to understand that there are some questions we can't answer simply because they are not judgmental, but they're subjective questions where really they could go either way with the questions. So don't be afraid to ask questions, but just know that some of your questions might not be answered in the way that you want them to be answered. Number 2, check to see the last time the seller was active. You can see at their profile the last time they were active just by when they've shared items, those kind of things. You want to make sure you're purchasing from a closet that hasn't been abandoned for the last 6 months. So if you're interested in a pair of shoes from this closet, just make sure that the closet has actually been active, been sharing, and that way you know that those folks have been on the app and are likely to get your item and ship it out in a timely manner. Number 3, look at past solds in the buyers, in the sellers. When you're looking at a seller and you are looking for items, you want to look at their solds and see what kind of items they've sold for. And then sometimes I look at the comments in the solds. If you will be able to tell that there's comments, there's a little icon that looks like a thought bubble, and it'll be comments. And I like to go in and read some of those because those really will give you an idea of how the sellers treat the buyers, or if there were issues with the orders. Sometimes you can see that in the solds on those listings. I just like to get kind of an extra little bit of information if I can from a new seller that I haven't purchased from before. The other way you can do that is go to their About the Seller and look at the comments there and just see, you know, if they're mostly positive, if people have liked their experience, and checking out their love notes. Number 4, I haven't really talked about this a lot, and it's something that I personally do and I've done for a long time. But I don't believe you should use your Poshmark credit to purchase items on the app. I believe that you should cash out your credits and then use your credit card or your PayPal account to then purchase an item on Poshmark. And I do that because number 1, there's no customer support number for Poshmark. So if you have an issue with your, you know, something going wrong, there's no way to contact anybody about anything. So, you know, that bothers me. And at least then you would have a bank, your bank, to fall back on. If you had issues with the transaction, you could call your bank. The second thing is, they're not a bank. So if you are leaving your money sitting in Poshmark, they're not a bank. If they get hacked, you know, they're not, I don't know what the responsibilities of them are. I know that they were previously infiltrated, I guess, and some money was taken out of accounts, but they were put back by Poshmark. But leaving the money in there, I think, opens up to potential people getting into it and taking it out, which I would rather not have to deal with. So I take my money out as soon as it becomes available, usually daily or nightly. And the final reason I do that is if you do have an issue with your purchase and Poshmark customer support does not do what they're supposed to, or you do not feel has provided a swift or just response to what has gone on with your issue, you have the support of your bank and the consumer protection rules behind you if you are using one of your banking institutions. So if you are using a credit card or, you know, even PayPal, but if you're using your credit card and you're ordering something, you have another avenue to go towards if you want to file something on your credit card to say, this is not what I ordered, if you have an issue with one of your transactions. So don't ever be afraid on Poshmark or anything to reach out to your bank if you have a problem with something you've purchased. It wasn't as described to you. You can have them be a support to you and then reach out and make sure that they are being an advocate for you. Geez, this video is, my mouth. You have to excuse me on this video. I've started this medication for my migraines, and it has caused me to have a delay in my thinking process, which I'm hoping will go away. So you just had to bear with me. I really apologize. My videos are not normally like this, but the words do not come to me as quickly as they have in the past. So I hope you can understand that and get through this video with me, because I really have been, you know, delaying doing videos for you guys because I've been having this issue with this medication, and it's become obviously apparent during this video that I'm gonna have to fight through it just to make sure that I can get the information to you. And as you can tell, I'm about to tear up, and it's kind of emotional for me because you know, I was very good at doing videos and speaking and all of these kind of things, and now I'm basically retraining, and I'm gonna have to keep practicing while I'm on this medicine to make sure that I can actually speak correctly. So if you hopefully you'll stick with me for the next 5 items here on this buyer, and I appreciate it. And if you don't know my story, you can check out one of my other videos, but I do suffer from chronic migraines, and I've been playing around with some different medications. And unfortunately, this is a side effect of one of the new ones I'm on. So yeah, so that's, anyway, so back to number 4. Your financial institution will be able to have your back more or less than anybody else will if you have a dispute with Poshmark, but you have to use your credit card or your bank to purchase the item. You can't use your Poshmark credits to purchase the item, and that you won't have anything to fall back on after that. Number 5, make sure to open and review your items carefully within that 3-day window of them being delivered. It's after that, the item is yours, and it's whether it was what it said it was or it wasn't, then the item is yours. And I have fallen for this a couple times. One time I fell for it simply because I did not get to my P.O. box in time, and it was a horrific sweatshirt that said Boss Lady. She apparently handmade it for me, but anyway, I have another video for that you can watch. It's lovely. The other one was a bunch of polymillers I ordered, and only half of them actually had the print on them. The other half were clear. So just be aware that you really should be checking your items within the first 3 days. It's to protect yourself, to be able to open a claim, and to, have that window of opportunity to express any concerns you have about the transaction within that window. Now, if you find out an item is counterfeit, you have the ability after the 3 days to come back to Poshmark if you can show that it's counterfeit, and they will address that with that transaction. So just know if it's a counterfeit issue, there is a post 3-day window for that they will honor to be able to make sure that they make that right for the inauthentic item. Okay, number 6. Understanding the rating system. Now, if you rate items on another website, like let's say you're on Yelp, we all know on Yelp you rate the food and you rate the restaurant, you rate the service. If you're on Amazon, you rate the product. Well, people don't really know what they're rating on Poshmark. And so it results in a lot of sellers becoming quickly defeated and upset about their rating systems. My first few lower ones were heartbreaking, and now I've come to just accept that some people don't give 5-star reviews, or they don't understand what they're actually giving a review for. So the rating system for Poshmark is for the seller. Did the seller do what they promised, deliver what they promised, and in the timely manner, and within the parameters of what Poshmark requires as far as a timely manner? So did the seller provide you with the item in the accurate description and package it properly, send it to you within the time frame, and then that's basically it. If just because you didn't get a free gift, or you didn't get extra bonus stuff, or it wasn't wrapped in tissue paper with and a thank you note and candy and I don't know, whatever else people are giving with theirs. Did it get there safely, and was it in the condition you thought it was in? And did it get there within the couple days window? So that's what you're rating. You're not rating that it didn't fit you. You're not rating that it ended up being uglier than you thought when you got it. You're not rating it because the heels are too high on you. Those things aren't fair to the seller. You want to make sure that you're rating your experience and not what's going on with the item. Okay, so let's go on to number 7. Just remember, anytime you're buying used clothes, you are buying items from someone's home. They have smells. They have pets. They have candles, they have oils, they have perfumes, they have cleaning solutions. The expectation is that you should launder any used clothes you get before you wear them. Now, because as I just said, I'm very sensitive to migraines. I struggle a lot with smells. I could be a sniffing drug dog, I think, because I'm so sensitive to smells. And so everything in our house is either a very light fragrant or no scent at all. So whenever I just recently got a 1-star review on a Lululemon item that they said it was so strong of perfume that they were going to vomit when they opened the package, which is impossible for my house because I have nothing that is strong enough to cause that reaction in my home. But in fairness to them, they may have another sensitivity to whatever I deem is okay, and that just might have been their reaction to that jacket that I sent. So people have smells in their homes. Now, for me, one of the things that I think is important is if you are a smoker, I think you should put that in your item, because there are people who are allergic to smoking. If you're a pet-friendly home, you should put that. Anything that people could have allergies to, I always think that's important. On the flip side, if you're a buyer and you're allergic to cats, or you're allergic to cigarettes, or you're allergic to dogs, you should ask the buyer before you buy from that closet, do you have dogs? Do you have cats? Are you a smoker? And that way it covers both bases. So the expectation is not that the seller should automatically be offering that information, but that you are asking the question of whether or not they do have those things, you know, cats, dogs, and cigarettes. And then, you know, well, maybe I shouldn't buy from them. You know, for me, smells are subjective. There are a lot of things that will come out in a wash. There are a lot of things that will come out with dry cleaning. You know, I don't think that a smell necessarily is a reason, is a terrible reason, but just remember, you are buying pre-owned clothing that come from people's homes. So there are smells associated with that. I did purchase something on Poshmark, and it came from a very, very fragrant food smell, like a garlicky, it was like they were cooking in their kitchen, and maybe their storage was in a boxes in their downstairs near your kitchen. So that kind of stuff, I mean, it is what it is. I was able to get the smell out. I just moved on with it. But just remember to launder the clothes before you wear them. They are coming from other people's homes. All right, number 8. If the price looks too good to be true, it is. No site is safe from replica bags, fake items, you know, any of those things. So as soon as Posh removes one profile that is selling fake items, another one pops right back up. So that's a third reason to pay for your items with your credit card in your bank, because if you have a fraudulent item, the bank will be on your side and can help you find a resolution to that. Poshmark also will have you, you know, Poshmark will also give you a credit if that item has been determined to be fake. But if you are looking at Gucci bags and you're like, I really want this Gucci Marmont bag, and they retail for $3,000, $4,000, and someone's selling them for $450, there's a reason. Number one, it's fake. Number two, $450 is under the $500 threshold where Poshmark does their authentication process. So any item over $500 is sent to Poshmark to their authentication process center, and they authenticate the item before sending it on to the buyer. So any fake items typically are listed at lower than $500, because that way it doesn't have to go through any kind of certification or authentication process. If it's a higher item, like a Chanel bag, what'll happen is your money will get tied up. So if you buy a fake Chanel bag or a fake Louis Vuitton bag, and it is gone through the process, Poshmark will determine that it's a fake bag, and then they will send it back, but your money will be sitting into that, your money is just sitting there now. So you have your money tied, your $1,200 or so tied up into that. So you want to be very careful about what designer items you are purchasing online. Now, there is a website called realauthentication.com, and I believe that they will authenticate something from you by using the listing before you buy it. So let's say you find a purse, it has all the pictures of everything they need. You can put the listing description, you put the listing URL in there and pay $20 and to find out if it is authentic or not. I've used them for a couple other things that I've thrifted. I've been happy with their my experience with them. So, just make sure that there are scammers out there, and there's a possibility for any of it. You just have to be diligent, you have to be aware, and you have to be willing to hop on it as soon as you get the item and you think it's fake. You only have that 3-day window. It's easier to deal with it within that 3-day window. Number 9, Poshmark customer service is subpar, and they don't have a phone number. You have to open a case within the Poshmark transaction. It's extremely frustrating. They can take days to respond. You will be in contact with the seller. Some sellers are not very nice during the returns, and so it could turn into a heated debate in the return process between you and the seller about the return. Just know that the seller can see what you're putting into the return process, and then vice versa. They will be able to see what you're saying. It's not a great process, and just know that it can be very frustrating if you are trying to get an answer or you're trying to get something done and you're waiting days for a response from them. Number 10, just like life, there is a very wide array of personalities on Poshmark. There are wonderful, considerate, generous, lovely people that I have met at the conferences that I would consider to be my friends in real life. There are people who are just on there to sell and they're not interested in the social aspect. There are people on there who can be, frankly, quite nasty in their comments to people or be not very nice. And, you know, that's, I guess, the way they want to run their business. It makes me not want to buy from their closet. But, you know, just know that there is a little bit of everything on Poshmark, just like there's a little bit of everything in the whole wide world. So don't let a bad experience or two ruin your whole Poshmark experience, because it really is a great community and people really do genuinely want to provide great items at a great price and a wonderful experience to you when you get your item. And so it really is a great place to shop. It really is a fun place if you want to go to the Poshmark events and get to know other people who are selling and other people who are, you know, getting to make extra money and learning to sell things out of their house. I think it's a really great system they have set up, and it's a really great community. But there's just, I feel like these 10 things are some important things to know. There's as important to know as a new Poshmark seller, Poshmark buyer. Geez, guys, I know. So I know my videos normally are seamless. If you have bared with me through this video, I thank you so much. And I'm hoping that I can get my brain back in order and get my video sensibility back where I can whip through these and they sound much better. But anyway, I think the content is relevant. I think you'll get a lot out of this video, and hopefully this medicine will get rid of my migraines, even if it makes my brain a little slow. So don't forget to subscribe to my channel, and I will see you next time. All right, bye-bye.